What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Usually for the familiest of Fridays, it's the familiest of Saturdays.
Yeah, Saturday special.
Yes, so take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Hell yeah, guys. And hey, Saturdays, a couple important topics to discuss.
Yeah, a few things, right?
On our Cowboys. 2 of them right on your screen. Actually, a total of 4. We'll discuss that here tonight.
Coaching.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and coaching gone. Dan Quinn, we know this. A couple days to digest it. Some pieces moving around. We're going to discuss it right here tonight. And hey, this is the up-to-date stuff here. And this ain't no guessing stuff. So we're going to talk about the real deal here. So make sure you listen. Give your comments down below if you're watching the replay. Give your comments down in the chat. Drop it like it's hot. Guys, thank you for joining us on this Saturday special. As we always do, let's hit the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But we got to drop the people that represent this board here, guys, this week,
right.
And the leaders of this week as well. So let's start off with the people representing it.
A huge and extra special shout out to the sponsor of the week, back to back, like our '90s Cowboys, Marco Sepien.
You know it. Much love the man, Mark H. 99 points, by the way, on the stream boss.
Almost fully loaded up.
Yeah, and currently. Right now, he is, and let me just double check it. Yeah, he is in first place on the overall board. You know what that means? He's going for that three-peat.
That's right.
See what happens. Got a couple people on that board that are right behind him. But when it comes to the gifting membership board, man, we truly appreciate you guys since we got this new function. You guys have been awesome. Specifically those like Skeptical Fan and Jason Renfro and JD from DC who went back to back like our 90s Cowboys as well as our gifting champion. But I will say this week, it's like a ghost town. There's no new memberships getting re-upped. So
re-gifters.
Yeah. So again, right now it's 0 across the board. That is available for the taking. We'll see who takes it, if anybody, right? So, and then of course the Cash App crown is being held by the Cash App Queen, Marissa Sparkle. Much love to her. Another star level member. Appreciate you. So as we look to the leaders, Marissa, she's got the crown on, but currently right now, and we just had a drop yesterday. I do got to shout him out. The man Jason Renfro, who dropped a $2.61 holler in the Cash App in the Go Cowboys. Appreciate you always, Jason. And again, he's on that board with a bunch of others right now, trying to see who can outlast each other for that top spot, that first place spot. But the current leader is the man. You know who he is?
Who?
Stanley Smith.
Ooh, Stanley.
Stanley has come roaring back and currently actually second. If you look right above on the overall board, Marco Sepien is in first place. But not much ahead of Stanley Smith, who's right there behind him in second. McLovin is actually third on the overall board and right behind Stanley Smith on the Cash App side. So we got some battles to finish seeing who wins tonight and tomorrow, our last 2 streams of the week. Champions will be named. So, baby, on that note, we got to also shout out those that the different ways the drops come through. Like I said, the super chat, of course, is a way that you can always drop it in here to the little $sign. But then you also have the thanks button, and much thanks to those that have used that. Of course, you can jump up in the membership, which yesterday, Andy Potched, star level member. We're going to shout out the star level and silver today. But yes, much love to Andy Potched back in that silver, in that star level membership, top notch in it. And of course, there's also the gifting membership side of things, which right now it's a little on the low side, but nonetheless, I appreciate everybody in the membership, all 100 in the house. So on that note, though, there's 4 other ways you can challenge Stanley Smith, Marissa Sparkle's crown on the Cash App side of things.
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat.
That's right. And since it is, we're missing some Fridays here. We do the Saturday special and the shout outs across the board. That is the silver level. That is the star level. A lot of S's, right? On that Saturday. And of course the over everything level. So maybe without further ado, let me shout out a couple of people. You shout out the rest. We got Bobby Bottles in the house. Prince Jackson, of course.
Yes.
Royalty, right? And A. Lavelle. Talk about royalty, 43 months as our, in the membership overall, that's a record here. More than anyone ever on our membership side of things. So big shout out to A. Lavelle and the silver level style of things. And then what other names maybe you want to shout out?
Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, the Lunatic, Marissa Sparkle, Andy Potched, Jason Renfro, and of course Lincoln Kane.
Yeah, appreciate everybody in the house. Repping in the star over everything level, and of course on at least once a week, whether it's Friday, Fan Friday, or a special Saturday, it will be shouted out the silver level too, of course. So thank you on that side of things, and everybody repping the boards. I think we've covered a lot of the intro stuff, so let's talk about those people in the chat.
That's right.
Ready to discuss some Cowboy news about our coaches.
A big hello and hi to Thomas Garrett, the Superior. Garrett. We have Rolando Rodriguez in the house.
Yeah.
Raul, hello and hi. Spoony Dog, what's up? Fuego bringing the heat. Jason Renfro, much love to man himself. Beast Mode, who's, by the way, hashtag Team Zimmer. We'll be getting to that shortly.
Yeah, we got
Chris
some names.
Davis, what's up? Colleen K, happy Saturday to you and yours. Lee Side Harold here. El Cool, what's up? We have, who else? Kind of rolling back here. JD from DC, hello and hi, much
Hell
love.
yeah, the king. The champ back-to-back like the 90s Cowboys.
That's right.
In that gifting board.
Freedom first is first. There you go. Good for you, man. So, and like I said, shout out to everyone here chilling, hanging with us. But yes, there's been some coaching percolations that are
some updates
Cowboy
for sure.
adjacent once more.
Yeah, but I do have to say, adjacent to our intro, we have a Jason Renfro sighting in the Cash App side, baby. And he's moving up the board here. You know the man, Mr. Jason Renfro, dropping a $2.64 holla. And yeah, he said, "Go Cowboys," as he always does. Appreciate you, Jason. And again, he's up there with there's about 4 or 5 people in the running here on the Cash App board. Jason's still a little bit behind. I'm gonna be honest, but at any moment you never know by anyone. So, anyways, appreciate you, Jason.
Hellifield, hello, what's up? And Vrabel's another one of those people in at least our discussions. Are they in the Cowboy discussions? Less so.
Stay tuned. Now, ready to start up? I'm ready to go because we got really 2 or 3 topics, quick ones from the NFL, and then the big one, the only ones that matter, our defensive coaching situation right now. That's all you're going to see. You're not going to see anybody getting re-signed in free agency yet. You're not going to see any of our own guys getting signed in free, before they hit free agency. This is not happening yet. It's going to take a couple more weeks before that, or at least another week after the Super Bowl to get that side going. So right now, we got to focus on coaching. We got to get our shit together so we know what kind of game plan going into next year, kind of players you want, which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to get. We got a little time, but not much. We're one of the last here. Oh, whoa. Stop the clock.
Skeptical fan said, hold up, wait a minute.
Guess who's back? Skeptical fan. Always
call
stay skeptical.
Come back. Thank you, Skeptical.
Truly.
Appreciate you re-upping that star level membership.
Truly appreciate you, and I know how difficult it is for the man Skeptical fan.
It has been, again.
And it's been difficult for all of us here, but I understand Skeptical. The pain, it's real, man. It stays with you. You gotta wear that star almost like it's like a, what happened to you guys? It's happened to me out there in the world. When I the last couple of weeks, what happened against I fucking have to deal with this shit. But it is I guess you could say, just metaphorically, the cross to bear for us, the star to bear for us. Right now, we gotta take the pain, but I am guaranteeing you that hopefully, whether it's dumb luck, something. I know I'm staying skeptical. I know Skeptical called it, 2032, was it?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl year for the Cowboys. Seems like he's more right than wrong right now on that. And I hate saying it because I can't. I don't know if I'll make it there. Who knows? There's going to be too many freaking chest pains.
I hope I do.
Too many chest. Me too. I would like it done earlier than that shit. You know what I mean? Real quick, maybe hit up a couple names. I update the board here.
Of course.
A couple of the comments in the chat, and Skeptical moving right up this board.
2035. He
he moved it back.
Amended his thought process there.
Oh shit! It hurt. I laughed through the pain, though. I'm laughing through the pain.
You kind of have to. So, but rolling back, let me read a few comments here. Right. So, who do you think is the next defensive coordinator? MCF said Rolando. I mean, our personal thoughts on who I think ends up getting it. I will say, based on the moves that the Cowboys have or haven't made so far, it does seem like Joe Witt is their personal choice, at least on the internal side. Again, this is just me, my personal thoughts, but it does seem like they actually do really want / like Joe Witt and would heavily consider him if he were willing to stay in the building. So, of course, like that whole, Quinn factor comes into play, although I know you obviously have your own personal thoughts as far as like the McCarthy factor and other things like that. But for me, even I have to agree, I think that I would personally really like to see Joe Witt.
I mean, for me,
just my opinion, just me.
My opinion is that Joe Witt, I would like to see him here, the guy to pick. But if he goes to Washington, which is very possible, I think that, I made my comment the other day about Belichick's son, Steven Belichick.
Yeah.
I think that he would be an option for the Cowboys. I'm hearing he has some skills. You can roll the dice with him on a 1-year fucking deal, right? And then you got the inside track on guess who? Big Bill. Daddy Bill. I'm just saying, not that you even have to have that inside track, but let's start planning for that in a way. I mean, our defense is kind of set. This guy's supposed to have some skills. So let's see what Belichick's son can do. And then next year, bring in Big Bill, take over Mike McCarthy's spot. Unless we win the Super Bowl, then hell, sign McCarthy for 40 years for all I give a shit at this point. I'll take it. We can overcome everything that we have to endure here. So you know how that goes. Us fans here. A lot of pain. Joy? Some joy. A lot of pain. The last 28 years now. I got to amend that shit. So, yes, I did update the board. Just want to make sure everyone knows. And Skeptical Fan, the man who's back in that star level membership, is in 7th place currently as we speak. Although I'm looking over my other device, and I see that he's dropping a thumbs up $2 holler.
Woo!
That will put him actually right in front of Dwayne Broussard into 6th place. Moving on up, man. Repping the star here on My Cowboys Family. Among family, friends, and loved ones.
A classic.
Yes.
Go Cowboys.
Yes, appreciate it. Big time.
Oh, so now, I'm also seeing Fuego saying, if Al doesn't get the promotion, then he's going to leave. I'm guessing AL is an Al Harris.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
that's
again,
what he's referring to.
Word on the street, so to speak, it doesn't really seem like Al Harris has been in the mix. Right?
Yeah.
We brought up a lot of names. We've had a lot of discussions here, but Al Harris has been pretty secondary.
Yeah, we're going to break it down because, again, we got some names we talked about 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
We talked about like 13, I was proud to say, 13 different options for the Cowboys. New, old, young, unknown. And, we know it's going to be one of those guys, right? One of those 13. So today we break it down to a lot less as we hone in on a real name here. Real names to be interviewed. But first, Jason Renfro dropping his monthly membership comment. What did the man say?
33 months. Thank you, Jason. Saying,
sorry.
Time to bring in Mike Zimmer for the new defensive coordinator. Needs to be a real defensive coordinator going into that doomsday defense back that made teams scared when they played us. Like the 90s, when we scared teams, we need those mean dogs.
I'm with you. I just, to me it was between, I think I said it the other night, it would be Rivera or Zimmer would be the Cowboy choice in the end. I don't think they want to start with a new guy because he's going to be fired in a year. They'd rather go with a guy that, again, I'm not even sure what the mindset here for the Cowboys is going forward, but when a new coach comes in, if McCarthy's gone, everybody could be gone. Probably is gone.
Yeah.
The new coach is going to bring their guys. And you don't want McCarthy, you don't want Jerry Jones forcing, Joe Witt Jr. on the next coach coming in the way he did that to McCarthy and Kellen Moore.
Agree.
So that's just the way I see it, man. And so to me, Zimmer and Rivera need a 1-year boost to get back in the league in a different way. Then this is a good way of kind of bouncing it off for them. For us, it's one of those dead years for our guys in a way. It's almost like just get through it. It feels like, and I just I'm not
the
happiest about that.
Shit.
Yeah, if we're gonna get through it, then let's get something for next year too. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that is, that's why you bring a Steve Belichick, into the house like that. I don't know, just an idea. I know I'm talking crazy. Anyways, we're gonna get into that in a minute, Jason, and everybody else in the house. Hitting that like, hit subscribe, hit that the bell, the subscription, the like for the stream. I don't know, I'm going crazy here. It is a wacky Saturday. So Pro Bowl, the Pro Bowl games. This is a week-long thing where they have competitions. We talked about it the other day. I'm not going to go through it. But today they did have one competition that counted for 3 points for the winner. And it was the Madden 24, battle, I guess, between the NFC and AFC. And the winner of the Madden game, the Madden Bowl, I guess you can say, for the Pro Bowl, would nab their side of the conference. The NFC or AFC would get 3 points. The NFC was leading 12-6 before this situation today. And in case you guys care, there are some fun clips up there of Micah Parsons, who's been leading this team for 3 years, and they've won twice in a row. three times actually. But with Micah, since he's been there, he's won every single time. And today, of course, he's trying to defend his crown for a three-peat, if you know what I mean. So when you looked at the things today for this week in this Madden in this week of Pro Bowl games, the rookie reception record was set this year. Rookie receiving yards record was set this year by Puka Nacua, who was also the guy who was sitting next to Micah Parsons. And, of course, the Madden 24 Pro Bowl Skills Challenge MVP also went to Puka Nacua. Just want to say, that was a tag team partner for Micah Parsons. On the NFC, the AFC had Tyreek Hill and David Njoku from the Browns, tight end. It was an interesting little going back and forth there with Micah and Njoku. You can see that on the shorts if you want to go there and check it out. And the back and forth that went down there, I thought that Njoku made a good point. And Micah tried to get around a little bit. But he still repped that star over everything, so I give him the credit there. Anyways, in the end of this thing, Micah took the halftime lead, right, from Nacua. I think it was 15-3 at halftime. And then got a pick six for Micah Parsons. Ended the game. Basically, I think at that point they were up by 21 points. They won by 21. NFC wins. They get 3 more points on the board. And of course, tomorrow's flag football game finale for the week will help determine the champion. You might win I don't think you can win the flag football game and automatically win the whole thing. Yeah. So you get a certain number of points for that to get added to this whole week-long kind of competition thing. So that's the way it's going to be, guys, for the Pro Bowl from here on out. They can hold it in a warehouse in Montana, or they can hold it in Orlando, or they can hold it in Hawaii. It's not going to make a difference anymore. So, anyways, it seems good for what it is. It's just a way of these guys not getting hurt, having some fun. But it sucks because Njoku's comment was basically, listen, we're both sitting here. Because Micah said, hey, Cowboys, he's saying about the Cowboys. He was just like, that's what happens when you pick the Browns. And, you're like from the Rams. Like he was saying the Nakua was from the Rams. And Njoku was like, hold on, we're both sitting here playing Madden. And Tyreek Hill's like, yeah, he does make a good point. Micah's like, I don't know, because he was like, Njoku was like, he's like, so stop saying Browns and Browns. If the Browns are the Browns, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. And Micah's like, well, not the same. It's not the same, but that's a thing.
But it is.
Even though it's not the same, that's the Jerry Jones side of thinking. The fact that it is the same is the facts, is the reality of the situation. It is the same. We're both sitting on the fucking couch. And there's 2 other teams playing. The Niners trying to go for 6, and the Chiefs trying to go for 4. 3 in the last 4 years. So, hey, there you go. Just a little Micah minute there. By the way, Micah was asked if he was bringing back his Twitch streaming in the summer when he's not playing. And he responded with, quote, yes, sir. So he'll be on Twitch, gaming, talking something there, behind the scenes stuff. I'm sure will slip out throughout the offseason from Micah. I'm not a big fan. I love Micah Parsons. I really, really do, guys. And I do blame more the way the coaches used him, Dan Quinn, in this last game against the Packers. The way that the refs are missing calls, holding calls against the offensive lineman, holding Micah Parsons throughout the season. That pisses me off. Micah is a dominant player. I think he's defensive MVP. All that stuff, it doesn't matter. We're not in the Super Bowl. We're not in the Pro Bowl. So it seems like it's unfortunate. But
it feels
irrelevant. I don't want him out there, just like letting shit slip out that's going to be used against the team. We already have enough bullshit out there.
He's video gaming on Twitch over the summer. Like, what kind of off-season shit is he really going to let slip? You know what I mean?
You never know. That's the point. We saw Zeke in the COVID season. He was like, smoking weed and and drinking alcohol.
That's not letting things slip. Like,
he didn't want
shit.
That's my point. I don't think Micah does,
okay,
does dumb
Twitch.
shit, but Micah sometimes might say something dumb. Listen, the point is,
okay, he can say something dumb literally anywhere.
I get it, but it's more outlets means more chances. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Micah,
all right, I don't disagree.
Micah, do your thing. It's this is the time you relax, so do your thing, but just be aware. That's all. I think he pretty much is most of the time. A guy who's been extra ultra aware, who's been fantastic for this team when it comes to this kind of stuff, is Rain Dakota Prescott. And guess where he was today, or at least the last couple of days? His girl, Sarah Jane Ramos, posted a picture on Instagram with Dak Prescott and herself. Again, remember, he's not going to the Pro Bowl because of his, he said, personal reasons. The reason was the upcoming birth of his child. So he was with his wife, and they were on I don't know, vacation somewhere up in the mountains. She's pregnant and all white. He's out there wearing cowboy boots. I'm talking about on top of a mountain. It's kind of crazy. But he had, I guess, one of his buddies there next to him. And then he also had another one of his buddies and his buddy's wife, former player Sean Lee, the general, up there with him. They're out there skiing, guys, snowboarding. It looks like his wife was snowboarding. Either way, they're having fun out there together. Dak, I don't know if he's snowboarding. He looks like he's kind of just chilling. I don't think he's doing the skiing.
I don't think she was snowboarding. She's like about to give birth.
Oh, no, not her. No, baby. Listen, it's Sean Lee's wife.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got the snowboarding kind of equipment there.
Sorry,
so does Sean Lee.
Wife.
I know. So does Sean Lee, though, by the way. But anyway, Sean Lee and his wife both joined Dak Prescott and his girl, Sarah Jane Ramos, there, for some kind of nice vacation. Not even sure what country they're in. It looks like it's the Alps or something. I don't know. But it's beautiful.
Probably here in, like, Wyoming or some shit like that.
Yeah, it does look like he's probably more in-state. Again, him and his girl got the cowboy boots on, meaning Dak and his girl. Let me clarify. So, again, they weren't skiing or anything like that. There you go, guys. That is the Cowboy Corner there as far as, what this offseason is looking like for our guys and the Pro Bowl situation. Dak not there, Micah there. Any thoughts on that there from the family?
Well, right now we got Mr. A-Bomb in the chat who's having some discussions with some people there.
Yeah.
So,
well, listen, I'll say this. The Niners at least make it back to the Super Bowl, 3 times since us? And they've made it far and all that stuff, but they still haven't got that 6, motherfuckers. They still haven't got that 6. It's still 5 = 5, and I believe Kansas City's going to get that 4th. They're going to get that 3rd with Mahomes right now against the Niners, give them a little bit of a, deja vu from 4 years ago. And I don't see the Niners winning this game. They should have lost to the Packers. They came back and won. Should have lost to the Lions, came back and won. You got to give it to them. They came back and won. But they're going to be able to do that against a much more experienced team like the Kansas City Chiefs.
We'll have to see.
They'll have to get a nice big lead. I guess got to be bigger than last time. What was it, 10 points in the 4th quarter with 7 minutes? And then they lost 31-20. Oof, A-bomb, boom.
But hey, different year, different team, right?
Hey, listen, I'm schooled here. I know my shit. So anyways, appreciate you, A-bomb. We could talk our shit. But in the end, fuck the Niners. I hope they get creamed. I don't want to see a close game. I'm being serious on this. And I'm sure a positive. I mean, it's been 28 plus years. If it was the other way, I guarantee you'd be saying, I want the Cowboys to lose. I don't want them getting that 6. So, I know that's the way he would feel. He wouldn't want the Cowboys getting that 6. First team in the NFC to reach 6. Come on. It's us or them. And they've had 3 chances, and we haven't had any. And they still fail at least 2 out of 3 times. Let's hope it's 3 out of 3. And what did he have to say, baby? Hit me with. I can't see the chat.
All right. Well, real quick, Revelation journalist did say Sean Lee for defensive coordinator.
Hey, listen, maybe Dak is trying to recruit him. Who knows?
So, kind of rolling back there. A-Bomb said, it's coming, MCF. 6 rings on deck. Before that,
I think it's gonna be red and white.
Said, love me some Cowboy hate.
Hey, this is a place to come for it.
Pioneer is saying, I still don't know how the Lions blew that lead.
I'm telling you, the Packers blew it. They blew it. The Lions blew it, and the Niners, they do it. They got there, but they haven't done one thing. They still haven't won. We won a Super Bowl sooner than they have. We can brag about that for a couple more days, I guess. But listen, the point is, I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about the Cowboys' failures in the 28 years now. Fuck this shit. And I'm just, it's tiring for the Cowboys fan base, myself, as fucking 40-plus year fan, to be, feeling this way after some great years. Some great years we've seen it here. And then, for the owner really to be the main issue. And then now passing that shit torch to Stephen Jones. I don't see a good future coming for the Cowboys. So the Niners, even if they don't get it now, guess what?
Yeah,
I hate saying this,
feel like
but if they don't get it this year, they're going to get it in 3 or 4 years, and we will still be suffering with this fucking front office.
Avon said, talk to me in 8 days. I'll drop back by. Well,
come on by. If you win, you win. You deserve the congrats. I still say fuck the Niners.
As long as you promise to be here, regardless of how it goes.
Yeah, don't.
That's all, A-Bomb.
Don't
easy
hybrid.
To talk shit when things are good. Not so easy when things are bad, right?
Things are really good for them, but yeah, they have one more step. There's no second. Who cares about silver? There's only one thing that matters. Those power rankings we say right now. There's only 2 spots to figure out, and that's 1 and 2. And who cares about 2?
Yep.
2 can be 32, and we all know that. I know as a Cowboy fan, I've never had to experience a loss in the Super Bowl. A-Bomb has experienced multiple losses in the Super Bowl.
True. So he's experienced.
Yeah. Experience that losing. We hope losing the Super Bowl. We give them that. They get there and then they shit the bed. So anyways, let's hope it happens. This is a good discussion.
Let me see. Kind of rolling back here a little bit.
And by the way, no one touched the A-bomb. No one bottom. Sometimes we try to have the mods that know what they're doing. So don't. He's a friend here. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's enemy technically. But, you know, I don't want anybody banning or blocking anyone. We are allowed to talk a little shit here. Yeah, we pride ourselves on that.
Our recent mod.
Yeah, we had one mod that was a rogue mod that kind of went crazy, started blocking anyone who said shit about the Cowboys. You just can't do that. We don't want that. We want free speech and go Cowboys.
So, like I said, going back to the Cowboy situation, right?
Yeah, I've experienced 3 wins. He's experienced 5. That's true. They all happened in a span of a bunch to 4 years there. 5, I guess 5
You know,
years.
Scorpio was dropping some really good stats, saying that looking at both Rivera and Zimmer's defensive stats, I've got to go with Zimmer. And I wanted to go back because he had posted so many of them. So,
well, I got a whole bunch of stuff. And who said that? Who's bringing it?
Scorpio dropped it.
Okay, so we're gonna be matching up notes here. Sure. Let me keep it moving. Let me keep it grooving here. Just a little side note as we get to the coaching situation, which is the only news of the night, really, for us on our side. I just want to bring it out there. I know Cowboy fans, it's Trayvon Diggs. What about Stephon Diggs with Buffalo? He was asked yesterday if he's ready to move forward with the Bills.
Yeah.
He said, "quote I'm ready to go no matter which way it goes." Saying basically, "Hey, trade me. $31 million hit this year. Who knows what kind of trade value they'll eat some of that cap or not. We'll see what happens, how they work that out. If anybody wants him, they got to give up a lot of draft picks to bring someone like, and then you got to pay, might have to pay most of his cap hit.
He's very talented, but also, like you said, very pricey.
As far as us, just so everyone knows, even though he's got his brother here, Trayvon in Dallas, I don't give a fuck. Important thing is that we have to be smart about stuff. We just can't get his. We got enough receivers right now, starters at least, to last us another year. We got 4 guys if we wanted to, and that's with Gallup, but he's going to be gone. So, by the way, and I don't know if it slipped through earlier. I thought I saw something go through here, a skeptical fan drop. I'm not sure. Oh, no, okay.
I think he did have a dollar holler that didn't show up on the board. Yeah, I think he did actually.
Okay, I didn't see that.
A classic dollar holler go Cowboys skeptical fan.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes those
they
dollar hollers
right
are a little weird. I don't know why. But thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you always.
The man staying skeptical
fan. You already know.
Yeah, and I also see another one that's slipping by here, and it's from Redman R. With a dollar holler as well. So, Redman R, appreciate you. Dropping a little 4 quarters in the bucket. Fuck it, let's go Cowboys. And appreciate you, Redman R. I don't know if that one hits or not.
I think that one's coming through.
So that will make Mark go down to 93 points. Man, that was a good year. 93, not 94, but 93. Anyways, so again,
take it easy, A-Bomb. All good.
Yeah, take care,
By the way,
man.
Bad Intention
we'll hear
said,
from you soon.
A 70-year-old defensive coordinator. Yeah, Jerry's going all in.
Yeah, that's the fear thing. That's those old vets I was talking about. The older vets, defensive coordinator, some fear there for me. Redman R, much love. Dollar Holler, go Cowboys.
Woo.
You know how we do this. Now, thank you there. And so that was the Stephon Diggs update. I do want to go to Dan Quinn for a second and kind of the situation with the Commanders. Here's the important thing, guys. Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, supposedly was interviewing. He, again, by one side, by the Commanders side, said that he had a very poor interview with the Commanders.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was the reason why, the team,
chose to maybe not go in that direction,
that was
he chose to stay where
right.
he did?
Yeah, I mean, that's one side of things, right? And then you also have another side of things where Washington also kind of like not really, they were the ones that were kind of
like he wasn't as into it.
Yeah, he's not into it at all. And again, the thing is this, guys, he informed them that he's not taking that job. At least that's what the news kind of pushed it at. He was not putting. He just said, "I don't want to take that Washington job," and the reasons was he was, quote, turned off by the Commanders' ownership, and that they were, quote, basketball guys, feeling that they were a little too confident in their football opinions. So again, he didn't interview well that Washington's talking about, and then there's the stuff that maybe he was turned off by the fact that they were basketball guys that had stubborn football opinions that were maybe not accurate in his mind. So not a good fit for both sides is the point there.
All
but
right.
a little bit of a jumble over there for the Washington spot that we don't know.
Interesting comment, though, to hear him say that basically, like, he just didn't like some of the football decisions just because, and again, let me know what you guys think about this comparison, but with them going into it like, oh, we know what we're talking about. We know the football shit we're trying to do here. And then for them to turn around and say that so confidently, like he's trying to say, like, they're coming at it from a basketball mindset, trying to almost do things in a basketball way. that doesn't necessarily translate to football. And also, again, basketball does not translate to football.
Right.
So it's almost kind of implying like they're talking out of their ass, right? They're trying to make football decisions they don't really know about. Does that sound like any other ownership you might think of, right? Making football decisions.
I mean,
that they're
I'm not going to say it, but
underqualified to make.
I'm not going to say it, but can I put up a picture? Does that ring a bell?
Pictures do sometimes say 1,000 words.
We didn't say it. We didn't say it.
Anyway.
So anyways.
Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that comparison.
As we continue, though, right? So Washington, of course, we know they got Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
And now, with the Raiders, we talked about yesterday, that the Raiders had, or 2 days ago, that Cliff Kingsbury, formerly of the Cardinals coach and USC, withdrew himself now. This was yesterday. He withdrew himself from consideration for the offensive coordinator job of the Las Vegas Raiders. This was basically a situation that happened was basically contract talks broke down. And again, Kingsbury and the Raiders, contract negotiations came undone in the last 24 hours. Kingsbury withdrew his name, and he said, I'm not taking this job. He let multiple members of the Raiders organization know that he would not be joining the team, and that was done again yesterday. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean, though, that Cliff Kingsbury is not going to return to the NFL, and this is why I'm bringing it up now. It relates. He's looking for other jobs in the NFL, and the first one on the list, Washington Commanders offensive coordinator, headed up, of course, the team by Dan Quinn. They're looking to put and try to sign Cliff Kingsbury as the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator. He's, again, has been discussed.
That would certainly be something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does. I don't think he's that great, but my point is that you get the right guys around him, the players, you never know. So, look, the point is he's discussed a potential Commanders offensive coordination. He was a target there before this situation, whatever happened with the Raider breakdown there. But now Washington is now, has their head coach in place with Dan Quinn. There's something to keep an eye on. Kingsbury to the Washington. Another thing is, remember, if he goes there, what happens to Eric Bieniemy? Now he's released.
Yeah.
He might join up with Bill Belichick and bring in the crew next year in 2025 into Dallas. I don't know. You never know, right? You never know what's going on behind the scenes. Belichick, Bieniemy. I wouldn't mind that. Anyways, that's a dream for next year. Commanders are expected to also interview former Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson for their offensive coordinator job. He was released from the Eagles. Of course, they brought in Kellen Moore. So you got Kellen Moore. We got a lot of guys we know in the NFC East playing us in this upcoming 2024 season. But Brian Johnson, he's also trying to go for that OC job in Washington. It's between, right now, Brian Johnson and Cliff Kingsbury for the Washington offensive coordinator spot.
Saying you're speaking my mind, MCF.
Which
Pioneer,
part?
I'm guessing with your coaching choices.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So throwing that out there, Pioneer said, I wanted Zimmer to be the head coach in '94. It's crazy. Scorpio throwing out there as well. Rivera said that he loved being a defensive coordinator more than head coach, and that he loved calling defensive plays.
Trust me, family, we are minutes away from hearing from this.
Thomas Garrett, of course, saying the clown show. Bill and Eric being the kind of 1-2 punch.
Eric Bieniemy, yeah. Oh, I said Bieniemy. I said Belichick and Bieniemy. But Eric Bieniemy, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, baby, I do want to hit up a very important last final farewell from Dan Quinn. From a little farewell to us, and of course what Washington said about bringing him in. You see him on the front of our thumbnail today. But I'll throw him up here one last time, since this is the last time we'll probably see him in that star here. He's not a Cowboy, of course, anymore. Look at our front, our thumbnail. You can see him there with the big W in his jacket. Now they have a picture with him with a hat on. Baby, what did he say with this new opportunity in Washington?
I am thrilled for the opportunity to become the next head coach of such a storied franchise and fan base.
Ooh.
Under the leadership of Josh Harris, the ownership group, and Adam Peters, we cannot wait to help usher in a new era of Washington Commanders football. The organization has an outstanding vision, and I'm honored to be a part of what's next. I want to thank Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Coach Mike McCarthy, and the entire Dallas Cowboys organization for the past 3 seasons. The players, coaching staff, and everyone across the organization became family in such a short time. We have a great task ahead of us, but the ownership group, Adam and I, are lockstep in putting in the work to achieve our goal, consistently competing for Super Bowls year in and year out.
He's dreaming. Anyways, Josh Harris, which is the owner, also had a news release about Dan Quinn.
Yeah. So
and he also said something about this.
My partners and I entered this offseason intent on hiring elite candidates to shape the next chapter of Commanders football.
By the way,
I believe we did just that.
Magic Johnson, one of the co-owners there. Just wanted to bring that up there.
First with Adam Peters, and now by welcoming the highly respected Dan Quinn as our head coach. Dan has rightfully earned a reputation as one of the NFL's top defensive minds, building tough, explosive, and dynamic teams that compete hard. But most importantly, he's an incredible leader who brings out the best in his players, coaches, and staff. We heard that from everyone we spoke to throughout this process, and it was reaffirmed when we discussed with Dan our shared vision for building a winning franchise. By adding such a respected, accomplished, and determined leader as head coach, we've taken another important step in our mission of delivering a championship-caliber team to our fans. I'm incredibly excited for our future, and to welcome Dan and his wife, Stacy, to the Commanders family.
Oh, well, fuck you, Washington. And Dan Quinn, you're the enemy now, so guess what? Fuck you, too. Boom. He's out. That's it. Done. Done deal. He's off the board as far as I'm concerned. Now, we got to figure out about what we're going to do about filling this spot here. Again, anybody in the chat with the last comments, maybe a Dan Quinn comment about any last thoughts on that before we get to the actual coaching side, which is literally the next thing we're talking about here.
Beast Mode just throwing out there in general about the coordinator. He's like a Cowboys will announce it right before the Super Bowl, to steal some news. So,
I agree, probably.
Thomas Garrett, you and I are on the same mindset. He's saying Dan Quinn is the ops now. Yeah, that's it.
Damn right. That's it. No more. Fuck Dan Quinn. I liked him when he was here. He did some great things. That's over.
I was going to say, you give yourself a solid 24, just like wins and losses. You give yourself 24 hours to, appreciate the guy and whatever. But at this point,
enemy.
He can go step on some Legos.
Exactly.
I hope
many of them.
I hope every draft pick goes left for them.
Every single one.
I hope he does worse than 8-8.
Agreed.
And it's not even anything personal. It's just, this is our freaking one of our divisional rivals.
Right.
What the heck are we even talking about here?
Agree.
Anyway.
So, what are the Cowboys going to do about defensive coordinator, baby?
Well.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, well.
We, again, have a little update here. And I want to make sure I throw up the array of choices that we discussed on. And then we had 13 choices. You're just seeing here 6 of them. All right? There's 6 biggies on this screen here. One of them you can cross off completely. Probably 2 of them. Probably 3 of them. The other 3, highly important right now. We're going to discuss 3 out of these 4 on the screen right now. So, today, again, what happened when this was announced, we heard after the fact that we knew Ron Rivera is going to be coming in sometime after Sunday, in next week, early next week, going to be coming to visit the Cow. I'll talk about Ron Rivera in a moment, but we already talked about him in detail after we heard about that, and 12 other candidates that could be right there with Ron Rivera. So, we know he's coming in. He's a veteran guy, right? We know the Cowboys also going to interview some of our own guys here. But then we also knew Mike Zimmer, formerly the Vikings head coach, defensive coordinator. We're going to go through it in a minute. But, more coordinator for the Cowboys, of course, 4 other teams. And Mike Zimmer, he said from his people saying, I'm interested in this defensive coordinator job with the Dallas Cowboys. So we knew he had interest. Today, former Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer, who last worked in the NFL in 2021 as the head coach for the Vikings, is meeting officially with the Dallas Cowboys about our defensive coordinator job. And this is per multiple league sources. So it's a done deal. As far as an interview, I want to make sure. I know Jason Renfro was earlier saying in the chat that we signed him. No, he's not been signed or hired. The only thing we know for sure is not only is Ron Rivera getting an interview sometime next week, but so is Mike Zimmer. We know this for sure now. All right, so Zimmer and the Cowboys are very familiar with each other, like you guys been saying, and we've been saying here 2 days ago, we talked about Zimmer in detail. He worked as an assistant coach for the Cowboys from 1994 all the way through 2006. We're talking about, that's post Jimmy Johnson, but we're talking about basically a Super Bowl there with Switzer, and then all the way through Parcells. So he's been a staple in Dallas for 12 years. And, he's familiar with the Cowboys. Now, here, let me creep it up for you guys. We know the Cowboys are going to be interviewing outside candidates. And they're almost feeling like, if you look at the bottom left of your screen, that's Joe Witt Jr. Are the Cowboys willing to let Joe Witt Jr. leave in this process? Instead of hiring Joe Witt now internally, why are we scheduling other coordinators already? Ron Rivera, Mike Zimmer. to take over that job without even thinking about Quinn, without us thinking about what do you call it, Joe Witt Jr. So there's an explanation of this, guys, and I'll explain in a minute. But I do want to say it would bother me if the Cowboys did not do a more expansive search than just a one-guy deal, and we have to have backup plans.
I mean,
what if he leaves?
Can I just throw out there that, again, the last word that we heard, right, but on our last time we went live, the last word was that Joe Witt had not necessarily made up his mind one way or the other, and that this was a very tough decision for him. So
he wanted, his dream job was head coach of the South Florida Bulls, or the USF Bulls in college, or the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. That's his dream job. So I don't know how much that carries weight when it comes to him going and leaving with Dan Quinn to Washington, because they want him to. They have an interview scheduled with him as well. So we shall see what happens. It is an upgrade, but promotion.
Yeah.
Either way, so Washington he is available for the Washington Commanders to also snatch off of us here. So the point is this: Ron Rivera and Mike Zimmer. Right now, the only outside options we know of or have a clue about right now for the defensive coordinator job. We could go through all those 13 names. A couple of them are on our team of those 13 names, but these are the only two older guys. Here you see Mike Zimmer, the upper right of your screen. These are the two guys. And it is interesting to bring these two veteran guys in for the 1 year hit there. But to me, they should be a couple more. We need to look. I think Belichick's son would be a great at least bringing him and checking him out. But look, the thing is this: following Dan Quinn's hiring as the Commanders' coach, the Cowboys are now set to interview a number of candidates for our defensive coordinator vacancy. So it's not just about Mike Zimmer. There's more, guys. Two people familiar with the scheduling said that internal candidates are going to interview on Monday. So in 2 days, guys, less than 2 days, we're going to have people like Joe Witt Jr. Interviewing for that defensive coordinator job. So internal candidates are going to interview on Monday. The external candidates are going to interview on Tuesday.
Okay.
That means Ron Rivera, Mike Zimmer, they will be coming in on Tuesday. Now, we'll see what happens after Joe Witt, and we'll see what Joe Witt's decision is going to be. Remember, guys, the in-house candidates, who would be these guys? It's not just Joe Witt. There's a couple guys here. You see Al Harris up there in the upper left. You also have Aiden Dirty, who's another guy. Aiden Dirty, who's British, defensive line coach. So the in-house candidates, they're going to include, and this is what I'm hearing now, guys. Two of these guys, Joe Witt Jr. and not the guy on your screen above in the upper left, but it's going to be the other guy, the British guy, Aiden Dirty. He's the other expected in-house candidate to interview for the defensive coordinator job. Now, Joe Witt Jr. is the front runner. Without question. Dirty is the dark horse, outside chance. But Joe Witt Jr. is an NFL defensive coach since 2007. He has been part of the coaching staffs with the Falcons, with the Packers, where he started with McCarthy, but with the Falcons, he was with Quinn, with the Browns, and of course with the Cowboys since 2021. His influence on our secondary as a whole has been huge, a huge factor for the Cowboys being a consistent league leader in takeaways. Fumbles, but it's been about interceptions. The Trayvon Diggs in 2021 and DeRon Bland this year, both leading the NFL in interceptions during his watch as our defensive backs coach. Now, as far as the guy not pictured, Aiden Dirty, his coaching career started again in his home country of Great Britain, defensive coordinator of the London Warriors in the BAFTA National League for 6 years, where he won multiple national titles. All right, that's cool and all. But then his career in the NFL began with Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons in 2018 as a defensive quality control coach, elevated to the outside linebacker coach. Now he served with the Cowboys as a defensive line coach since 2021. His defensive line development, the key for him is that he's brought up guys like Micah Parsons. Now, I think it's been more Quinn than him, but he's definitely been the main guy on the defensive line.
Yes and no. Like, I'm not even trying to take anything away from Quinn, but if you've watched a lot of the sounds from the sideline and just kind of seen a lot of the pictures of the Cowboys practicing and stuff like that, Dirty's like always there, always involved. We always see him in the mix. We see him kind of, like, I'm just saying, like, say whatever you want, but he's always there, involved in the mix and with the players. So
I want to say two things about that, though.
Okay.
His development with Micah Parsons, his portion of that has been good.
Yeah.
He's helped make DeMarcus Lawrence a perennial All-Pro, Pro Bowler, run-defending elite player, right?
Very good point.
And Osa Odigizua. Number 97 has become a much more polished pass rusher. But, and that's on the inside. Mm-hmm. And even though he's involved, my thing is this. Why aren't we still doing it that well overall, as an overall defensive line? Why do we have so many inconsistencies? And so that's my issue. That's still my issue. Could it be still the front office not giving the guys they need? Probably. But why can't we stop the run still? Why can't we get a pass rush on teams once they throw the ball quickly on us? Like, where are we falling short here? I don't trust Aden Dirty as our defensive coordinator. I would take Joe Witt Jr. or go external. And no Al Harris either. He's too young for that. So, again,
I don't necessarily disagree with that statement. I'm just throwing out there that, he's been involved and around. Although definitely. I guess for you, it's kind of like, he's been involved and around.
I mean, it's good and bad. There's good things and there's bad things. And that's the thing, is I don't know if I want... It's going to be like that every single coach, but do you want him running this thing for the first time?
I mean, you can make that same argument about Joe Witt, though. That he's just going to do a little too much of what Dan Quinn was already doing. Joe Witt, the thing is, that's true. But also Joe Witt, he knows his defense best. He took over for Quinn when he was out with COVID, and he did a damn good job play calling this, the game that he did do. So to me, it goes both ways. I think it was a preseason game, so it's like Dak play calling, I guess. Right.
But I just think he has more experience in taking charge. He did it in Atlanta too, if I'm not mistaken, a couple times.
I feel like Quinn. The point still stands. If we're gonna go internal, Joe Witt or bust. That's it. In it should only be Joe Witt considered as far as the internal hire.
Aden Dirty, he is outside.
Great and all that.
Shot. Outside chance to get that. He might leave to Washington. Who knows, right? So we don't know. But either way.
That's a great point, too.
That's the external crew. Al Harris, he's not even being considered, what I'm hearing, as a defensive coordinator, which is fine to me.
Trayvon Diggs is a little disappointed.
Trayvon Diggs wanted to see him there. Well, that's that. So again, that could change, of course, but that's the current situation. And again, that's the two names we know. Maybe Al Harris is on that list, but it would have been. I think it would have been reported. It has not been. So I'm going to go with if they're in a day and a half, if they're going to do these interviews, Al Harris is probably not on that list. And if he is, it'll be done in more private.
But I agree with you that I doubt he's on that list.
Externally, the one name we did know before today was Ron Rivera. And let me just quickly say this.
That's the only one we knew guaranteed.
Right. That we knew that definitely he was meeting, and the only external guy. But let me throw this at you, baby, because he's not a popular choice, Rivera.
He's not.
Some of you guys are saying he'll be all right, though. Some people are making a case for him. Let me just explain real quick. He's going to go from D.C. to D.C. From Washington, D.C. to defensive coordinator in the Cowboys, if he does get, and the Dallas Cowboys, I guess you could say, if he does get the job with Dallas. So Quinn's defense, here's the thing I'm going to say about it.
He's leaving D.C. to be the D.C. for the D.C.
Exactly. Exactly. It all rhymes. But Dan Quinn's defense was notorious for leading the league in generating turnovers. I just said that about Joe Witt and the job he did back there.
Yeah.
So Quinn's defense, again, as a whole, was known for the turnovers, especially in the interceptions and that kind of stuff. But it's about turnovers, getting turnovers. Ron Rivera, when he's the defensive coordinator, he's done that with 3 different squads, and each time those teams have made it to at least the conference championship.
Okay.
When he's been able to get turnovers, leading with turnovers, and 3 times he's had 3 different squads, 3 different teams, 3 times total. He's done this and made it to the conference championship, and twice he made it to the Super Bowl. Keep that in mind. Speaking of going deep in the playoffs, as a coach in the NFL, Ron Rivera has made it to the conference championship game 6 times with 3 different teams. All right?
That's actually kind of impressive.
I mean, he did it with the Bears, and they lost. All right? And then he got to the conference championship with the he got to the Super Bowl with the Panthers and lost.
He did.
And then I think one more time with the Panthers, and they lost, of course, in the championship game there. But again, that's the pluses of Ron Rivera overall. Again, some as defensive coordinator with the Bears, some as head coach with the Panthers. But that's more than Quinn. Quinn's only done it a total of 3 times. And more than Mike McCarthy, who's done it 5 times. So, again, guys, 6 conference championships for Ron Rivera, 3 for Quinn, 5 for McCarthy. Just a little added insight there that he's a guy who can maybe finish us, push us to the next rung, possibly. I don't know. I'm thinking here. So it's hard to know what someone like Ron Rivera would do with this Cowboys defense. But Quinn's shoes, I've been telling you this for a while, guys. We might be, sorry about Quinn leaving. It couldn't be helped. But I think a lot of us wanted him gone. And again, I'm not the biggest fan anymore as I was about him. He's the enemy now, but he's going to be hard to fill those shoes in a 1-year situation in Dallas. So Rivera will bring a lot of experience, and he specializes in the one area where the Cowboys defense need the most help. So
the D-line?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, just
D-line, run stopping.
Yeah, the stuff that we failed in with Dan Quinn. So that in itself should tell us, hey, it's an opportunity there with Ron Rivera. So you can't get too angry, I guess, if he's our coach at defensive coordinator. But the main guy I'm going to finish off with here tonight, and I'm going to dive deep here, is on Mike Zimmer in your upper right of your screen. And Mike Zimmer, guys, spent, again, we know about the Cowboy years, but he spent 8 seasons in Minnesota. He won 56.
Minnesota.
Yeah, he won 56% of his games as the Vikings head coach, which is, he did better, I think, in the beginning of his career and kind of died off there at the end, which, of course, eventually got fired. McCarthy was in Green Bay during that time frame, and the two built a healthy relationship and admiration, mutual respect for one another, forged in the NFC North battles that they had. So McCarthy's happy with someone he would rather take a risk with someone he kind of knows and battled with and respects in Mike Zimmer on his squad. When the Packers let McCarthy,
that's a fair point too.
When McCarthy was let go by the Packers in 2018, Zimmer with the Vikings stated publicly it was sad and called it a mistake. So they're friendly in that way. Zimmer,
exactly, like that rivalry has created a mutual respect between them.
Yes, exactly. So you got to remember, Zimmer was a defensive coordinator in Cincinnati, in Atlanta, and of course in Big D in Dallas. Before his head coaching tenure in Minnesota, he spent a total of 13 years with the Cowboys in an assortment of roles under 4 different head coaches. Switzer, Campo, I think Parcells, and no Parcells. Who was the other guy? I always forget the guy. Chad.
I almost said Hannity.
No,
that's not it.
God, I always forget his freaking name. I block it out to save me the torture. But the point is that Zimmer has made a big impression.
I'll let you know if someone in the chat.
I'm sure somebody will remember who the other coach is. But he made a major impression, Zimmer, when it comes to his fiery, confrontational approach. It's more of like tough love than collaborative. He wants it his way, and rather than getting everyone's ideas on things. It works because he forges a relationship with all in his path, and is the same kind of with the coaches as he is with the players. So he has that connection that he treats the coaches as with the players, and he basically rules.
He might be tough on the players, but he's tough on his coaches. He's tough on everyone.
Correct.
And it's not you don't feel unequal,
right, when
you're being coached by him or whatever. He's giving the same amount of shit to everybody.
And he's the boss, and that's the way it's going to be with him. So
when was the coach again? The one that you're talking about?
What do you mean?
The one that you forgot his name. He worked with.
It was after Switzer. No. It was after Switzer. Yeah, he did work with Zimmer. It was Switzer. Where was I keep forgetting his name. Was it Campo next? I don't know. It was Switzer.
Dave Campo?
No, the guy we had after Campo was the name I'm forgetting.
Okay.
Henning. I don't know.
All right, so there you go. The coach we had after Campo.
And before Parcells. Anyways, the point is, and I forgot, maybe it's the other way around. It might be Campo. It might have been this guy and then Campo. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to say it, no?
I'm sure someone will, and I'll let you know.
You look it up in 2 seconds. It's going to kill me here. But point is that Zimmerman has, it does things kind of in his demanding way, and he has his way. Everyone respects him. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones also love and respect Zimmer when he was coaching with the Cowboys. The 3 of these guys have remained close since Zimmer went to the Vikings and followed his own path there. So
Gailey.
Chan Gailey.
Thank you, Pioneer.
Thank you, Pioneer. I hate that guy. I hate that guy. What a lame duck coach that was. That was the worst coach in our history, I think. Even worse than Campo. So, anyways.
Word for it.
Chan Haley. I can't stand him. Chan Gailey. Yeah, that's it. Right? Yeah. Man, I just don't want to. We got it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. So, again, McCarthy. The key here is that Mike McCarthy. Let me throw him up here because he does have a big connection with Zimmer. And in the sense of like battling in the NFC North. And again, if McCarthy and Zimmer adhere to many of the same coaching principles, that's what it seems like they do have. They have the same kind of coaching principle mindset, but are also temperamentally on opposite ends, different. So again, both demand accountability, although I'm still waiting for McCarthy to do that. Zimmer does it with more of an edge. To me, it's a good thing. For a head coach entering the final year of his contract like McCarthy, to have a guy who's going to be a little more taking over things and what I'm saying, being more outspoken on shit. This guy just head coached a couple years ago. He's going to have a head coach feel to him when he coaches them there. So I think McCarthy loves to just give the job to them and just let them worry about the defense. Zimmer is a stand-up guy. He's loyal. He's a good. He will follow the Joneses. We know this. And he's also, again, you guys said 70, but he's 67 years old. He's not looking to climb the coaching ladder necessarily at this point. We can all. He's not looking to be the head coach again. It's not going to be really putting that fear into McCarthy in that sense. So this isn't a defensive coordinator who would pose a threat to McCarthy, who has received, what's his name? Been received well, but received by the owners, by Jerry Jones, as complete support this season. But not an extension, of course. But right now, he's got Jerry Jones's support, McCarthy. And Zimmer's not going to undercut McCarthy. It's not going to be like a Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips situation, right? So, again, he'll do everything in his power to help him succeed. Because why? Zimmer needs to get back. If he looks bad, if McCarthy looks bad, Zimmer's going to probably look a little bad here, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He has, again, like you said, a more personal vested interest in making McCarthy look good and obviously doing good, so to speak.
The biggest thing about Zimmer, his selling. Let me just go through. We go through some of the negatives here. We go through the positives. But Zimmer, he's a little older, right? 67. He knows how to deploy a defense and motivate. These are things he's known for doing. It's not like we have to guess. He knows how to motivate the players, which Quinn had that. But we also know he also knows how to take the guys you have and make the most out of them. Sound familiar? A little Dan Quinn-ish,
that actually
right?
does sound a little Quinn-ish.
Again, he is very good at what he does. This is a known thing from Zimmer. As far as defensive coordinator, I'm not about head coach as much, but we know about George Edwards, who was his coordinator there.
We do.
And, we had him for a bunch of years with us. They had a good relationship. But again, who was running that defense? Was it him or was it Zimmer when they were back there? So I think Zimmer was still kind of the defensive coordinator in charge. And you had, George Edwards is kind of like the defensive coordinator by name.
Yeah, like on paper.
Well, I mean, he was the coordinator, but it's kind of like Schottenheimer this year and McCarthy.
Okay.
It's kind of gave me a feeling like Zimmer was still doing the defensive coaching, while Edwards was kind of doing the Schottenheimer job on offense. For McCarthy. So, anyways, that's just my correlation there. But to me, doing these things that Zimmer can do, motivate. Get the most out of your defense and know how to use their strengths and weaknesses in the scheme you want to use. He uses a lot of different schemes. So all this makes Zimmer the most intriguing of all the candidates in my mind, and possibly the best of the external candidates. Possibly. All right? I think McCarthy, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, they would like this, and I think they have to determine this in the next couple of days. But to me, the fact he's been at it, he's going to go see the Cowboys front office on Tuesday. He is a very strong candidate for this job. If you want a guy who has experience, we got Ron Rivera, but you also got Zimmer, who's got an inside track and is known by the Cowboys front office. He's loved by the Cowboy front office. He seems to have the inside track even over Ron Rivera, in my opinion. And let me just say one last thing on why I think he has an inside track, and I'm going to finish it up here, guys. It's kind of a shorter stream tonight, but there's a chart out there. Basically, it's basically a Shanahan tree, a Shanahan offense chart. Which defensive coaches that we talking about, a lot of them on the screen here, how does their coaching style match up to a Kyle Shanahan offense, which is the 49ers offense, right? Well, right now, again, this is a chart put together by let me see here. I don't know who's doing it. It's basically taking the CPOE and the yards after catch components of the EPA per drop back allowed. I'm not going to get into the science of it. The point, it doesn't matter. The thing is this. The further right on this grid, on this chart, these coaches ended up with, they have a better underlying pass defense result against Shanahan and his Shanahan tree of play callers since 2017. Those names? Ron Rivera, Mike Vrabel, and Mike Zimmer.
Okay, sorry.
And the further up they are on this grid, the better results against all other offenses. Mike Zimmer is only behind Bill Belichick and Wink Martindale. Don Martindale. But
those are some impressive names to be amongst.
So Mike Zimmer is basically right there as he's the guy that knows the Shanahan and the Shanahan tree, coaching tree, the best. Does the best with his defensive deployment of scheme, and also is one of the best of the available coaches when it comes to all the other
All the other
offensive schemes. Yeah. So, again, none of the experienced defensive coordinators available are near the top of the NFL when slowing down the Shanahan tree. And again, I'll give you the names. Mm-hmm. You got Bill Belichick. He's great against non-Shanahan teams.
Okay.
Defensively. Wink Martindale, you see him right there. He's a little bit better than Bill Belichick against Shanahan teams. Still not very good, but very good against every other defense out there. Brandon Staley, who I do not want to see. Fantastic against other, not fantastic, fourth on the list here of these guys as far as other offensive teams. Horrible when it comes to the Shanahan crew. Dan Quinn, also fifth, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth on the list when it comes to other offenses, but one of the worst when it comes, I think only behind Brandon Staley, when it comes to stopping Shanahan offenses. Just showing you, that's the way it goes. Now, when you look at all the other coaches available in a big pot, they're all, they all kind of fall on the side of, a little bit, kind of 50-50 when it comes to stopping Shanahan's crew, coaching tree of play calling, and also the other offenses. But when you look at the guys that are left, Vrabel, and is horrible against other offenses. Fantastic against Shanahan.
Okay.
Ron Rivera, the worst against other teams. But third best. Shit, I think he might be number one, actually. Stopping Shanahan teams. Oh, we got a big...
That's a trickier one, just because of the whole...
We'll dive into it a little bit more. Randy Stites dropping that 5 on it.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate you, of course, with that $5 holler, sharing his thoughts on what he wants to see, saying...
Let me know.
If Vrabel is brought in for defensive coordinator, he's going to be groomed to replace McCarthy. So that's, that is kind of another factor here for DC that we haven't factored into these discussions, right? Is whoever comes in as defensive coordinator, kind of being put in a Jason Garrett-esque placeholder role to take over the following year, or at least be one of the options to take over the following year if we move on from McCarthy. So
I think, of course, he could be an option, but I also think that there's other options the Cowboys going to be looking at, like a Bill Belichick. You can bring Bill Belichick in. Here's the thing. If you get a guy like Zimmer or like Rivera, that tells me the Cowboys going to go start fresh next year. If we try to go to Vrabel or Staley, you might try to find a way of moving these guys up, as a head coach or something like this, But good bringing up a good comment. I think
it doesn't sound like the Cowboys have any. And again, this is just based off the little bit of word that's out there. It doesn't sound like Vrabel is one of the guys that's at the top of their list. So
he's not even on their list.
Oh, we're gonna have a defensive coordinator that could potentially come in and take over. Ron Rivera and Zimmer, I don't think, are either of those guys. Just throwing it out.
They're not coming to take over They're not coming to take over the head. If they are the defensive coordinator, they will be fired. They'll have a 1-year deal and be fired with the rest of the crew here, in my opinion. And again, to me, Mike Vrabel, in a way, if you want to go all in, you don't want Mike Vrabel necessarily breathing down McCarthy's back. But I don't even know if the Cowboys would be so confident in him, especially if the Cowboys go with Bill Belichick. Do they want Vrabel? Wouldn't it be something if we get Vrabel as defensive coordinator, Belichick as head coach, Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator? Ooh, man, that's a superstar team right there. That's a Super Bowl coaching squad right there. Anyways, I'll stop.
That would be very
I'll stop my excitement. But hey, listen, maybe, that's something. I think that if they hire someone like Vrabel and they have someone in their thoughts like Belichick, don't be surprised if the Joneses are like, what do you think about Vrabel if you were to have him under your wing next year? I'm just saying, it could be an outside chance of that as well. You never know. Anyways, the point here is, and again, much love to Randy Stites. Appreciate you, brother. 88 points for Marco Seppian on the Stream Boss as we grind it out here on MCF Saturday Special here. But I want to bring up Zimmer. And again, I was bringing up all the coaches. But again, baby, Ron Rivera, and I want Randy Stites to hear this too. Unfortunately, Ron Rivera, the worst of our remaining coaches out there when it comes to stopping every other offensive scheme in the NFL. When it comes to stopping Shanahan, if you want to stop Shanahan, he is your number one guy.
If you want to stop literally anyone else?
Yeah. He's probably your last guy. You don't want him. Zimmer is next on this list, right there with Vrabel, when it comes to stopping the Shanahan
show.
Yeah. But when it comes to the other NFL teams, Vrabel and all these other coaches in a big group, if you were to put them in there, and I'm not talking about Quinn, Staley, Martindale, or Belichick, but all the other coaches, they're right there with Vrabel, a little worse than Vrabel against Shanahan, but they all are a lot better than Vrabel when it comes to other offensive schemes. Vrabel is very bad against other offensive schemes. I mean, he is maybe a tenth of a point better than Rivera. Not much better. But a lot better against any other offenses out there is Mike Zimmer. And he is the second best against Shanahan teams. So to me, if you're looking to stop Shanahan and the Niners, coached teams, not just Shanahan, but his coaching tree, you want a guy that can stop him, but you don't want just a guy that can stop that. So Zimmer would make the best choice in this opinion. When you break it down with these numbers, Zimmer has the far strongest overall resume to go up in here on a one-year deal with this defense we have and battle all the other offensive schemes plus the Shanahan coaching tree schemes, which we've had trouble with.
I mean, from the veteran guys that you've brought up, I agree. And that's why I want to be specific there. We're talking like the older veteran guys.
So, and that's the thing. As I kind of continue, if you wanted to continue kind of saying, well, do we want somebody that's not on this list, one of those all other coaches guys? If you want the highest upside approach for this year, you try to poach a less experienced assistant from a defense like the Jets or the Chiefs or Buffalo or San Francisco. We know one guy's going to go. One of their coordinators are leaving, and so I'm just saying, like, this is what you look at. So again, they had a pretty good defense. I think I don't say great, but a good defense for the Panthers considering Ejiro Evero. One of the names I talked about, a young guy coming on this team. He said, I'm talking about a young coordinator or getting them from another team. This is an option. He's now expected to stay with the Panthers as their defensive coordinator. This is per David Canales, their new head coach.
Well, there you go.
He said, quote, he's a huge piece. So he's off the board. He's not somebody you can poach. It'd be a lateral move. So the only way you'd be able to bring him in if he was cut. Or not cut, but fired. Anyways, either way, he's not on the board anymore. That's why I still say Steve Belichick. But anyways, if you want a known commodity when it comes to defensive coordinator who can bring stability versus all the schemes in the NFL, then Zimmer is the easy choice. I'm just being honest, baby. For 1 year, Zimmer's the obvious choice. Even over, I'm going to be real, over Joe Witt Jr., even over Aden Dirty. The best guy for this team for a 1 year deal with a veteran guy that knows what's going on. The Joe Witt Jr. stuff is the problem here is that he is a guy it's not a good 1 year deal for him. He's going to have more than a 1 year deal here. And he's going to go. I just don't see him staying in Dallas for a 1 year roll the dice. Next coach fires him. You know what I mean? So to me, he might either go somewhere else, stay here. I don't know. But the point is, if you want a known defensive commodity that brings stability to all versus all these schemes, the Shanahan schemes and the other NFL team schemes, and Zimmer is much better than Ron Rivera or Mike Vrabel. That's all I'm saying. I'm going by the numbers here, guys. I'm going by the defensive numbers by these guys. Against the Shanahan schemes, these guys, Vrabel's just as good as Zimmer, and Rivera is actually a little better than Zimmer against Shanahan coached type coaching tree teams. But when it comes to the other teams in the NFL, Rivera is the worst at stopping them, and Vrabel is a little bit better, not much better, one of the second worst actually on the list of guys left. So Zimmer at the top of that list, tied for third best other than Bill Belichick, basically. So to me, guys, it's a no-brainer. I understand why the Cowboys are bringing in Zimmer. It's a no-brainer to me. And he might actually help us for this 1 year dip here, right? Now, I also want to say, guys, that you looked at the Dan Quinn numbers there. Dan Quinn was average against other NFL schemes and very poor against Shanahan coached teams. So you guys understand, Shanahan coached teams, Dan Quinn failed us there. Zimmer would dominate there on both those sides of things. He's better than Quinn on both of those things.
And again, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a weird situation because one, obviously doing good against other teams is kind of important. Last time I checked, there's only so many Shanahan offenses out there, right? But
Well, we played.
When you're talking about some of the biggest obstacles for us furthering our success in the postseason, Shanahan offenses have had a big hand in a little bit of.
I mean, you
that,
got the Niners. Just
sense.
the Niners with Shanahan himself, you got that, but you also got the Dolphins. We failed horribly at stopping their motion. We just don't know how to fucking do it. Well, you know who would? Zimmer. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Joe Witt Jr. would know. I don't know. I know that, some like Dan Quinn has failed against those kind of offenses. So just giving you guys a comparison to what we had and what we can get for a 1-year shot with someone like Zimmer who's experienced. He can jump in there and he knows what he's doing. He's not going to be like kind of fumfering in his first year there. Even if Joe Witt knows his shit, it's still going to be a little tougher to get when he first gets his feet wet as a DC for a full-time gig.
I agree. So I did want to hit up the chat real quick and touch on a few comments here. But before I do, let me take a really quick commercial break. Haven't had one all stream, but hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, guys. Again, super quick, easy way to always make sure to stay tuned on what's going on with My Cowboys Family here. Although you can always follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family and hop in the Discord as well. Link for that's in the description box. We always post there before we go live. An extra special shout out to the people representing here, like our sponsor of the week, back-to-back, MyCowboysFamily.
Yes.
Appreciate you, and repping it, CD Lamb style up above with 88 points on that stream, boss. There he is, MyCowboysFamily.
Yeah, Mark is also in first place on the overall board. What about the gifting board?
Again, nobody is on the membership gifting board yet this week, right? Although we do have JD from DC repping it as the membership gifting king.
Back to back like our 90s Cowboys. Well. Just like Jason. Just like Marco Seppian doing it there. Much love to Mr. JD from DC repping it there. And then you got the Cash App Queen.
Marissa Sparkle.
Yeah, repping that crown there. The top in the Cash App collection last week. Yes. Also, by the way, though, we got to shout out the man who's going to come for that crown right now. In first place is a little bit over McLovin is Stanley Smith. Much love to Stanley Smith. Appreciate you as always, man.
Much love.
Hope he enjoyed his car package that he won here on that raffle. Much love, Stanley. Appreciate you. And he is second place right behind Marco Seppian and right in front of McLovin on both boards. But, yeah, on this Cash App board, he's in first place. Thank you, guys. All the ways to drop the love. Appreciate you all. Hitting that like, subscribe, notification bell. Follow us on all those social media at MyCowboysFamily. And go Cowboys. Let's finish up strong. I got a couple last things to say here. I don't know if you wanted to hit up the chat real quick or not. If you had a quick comment.
Let me see.
Or two.
Xavier Hidalgo said, what if with Mike Zimmer we have the number one defense all around, but then we lose in the second round? Is he getting fired? Everyone's getting fired at that point.
I think, well.
Just saying. Desmond Ironman is throwing out there, I'm glad Dan Quinn is gone. Vrabel can run the ball and stop the run.
Well, Vrabel is not going to be the head coach, but but again, like I was saying, guys, it's not just about stopping the run, though. You remember this. He does not do well against Shanahan coach. I'm sorry, he doesn't do well against most offensive schemes when he was defensive coordinator. As far as Shanahan type offenses, it's fantastic. But against other teams, not that good.
Yeah, not as good. So, anyway, back to you, baby.
So, I thought
that was more or less most of the kind of points there. Although Mike Cardan also said, Bieniemy did leave Kansas City of his own volition, like on his own.
He went to Washington, right?
Was saying that I've heard that Bieniemy's just too problematic. He must be, because he won 2 rings and Mahomes kicked his ass out of KC.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. He's in Washington right now. He may be gone if Washington ends up hiring. We know they're looking at a couple people, right? Cliff Kingsbury is going to be interviewed. Bieniemy is out if that happens. He's pretty much on the way out. And so, same thing, they're looking at Brian Johnson from the Eagles offensive coordinator. So, we talked about it earlier in the show. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Bieniemy. My point is that Bieniemy still knows how to coach football. So, too bad if he's problematic and the players don't like him. Maybe that's a good thing in some ways. We get him motivated. I don't know. But he obviously has some issues. But he's not the only problem in Washington, all right? And I think that he was still a very big piece. I mean, not as big of a piece we may have thought of, but I think he was a big piece of what the Chiefs did early in this dynasty they got going on right now. Anyways, with Bieniemy, under Belichick, I have no problem with Bieniemy. I'm just saying, to me, they're like the same. Belichick and Bieniemy have the same kind of personality. That would work great as our offensive coordinator. And that's just an example. I don't care we could get anybody as offensive coordinator. I'm just saying there could be a triple team coming. Belichick can bring his team of guys already ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So that means Vrabel getting hired for us, unless Belichick wants him, he can be gone. And that's what you guys said. That's a great point. If Zimmer does great, I think it comes up to the next. I don't think he gets fired. I think the next coach will decide whether he keeps Zimmer or not. Zimmer could be playing for a defensive coordinator job with the new coaching staff.
I agree. It depends on how much they want to blow things up within Dallas. Although I still am a little bit more on your side of things, good or bad, unless McCarthy stays and then decides to keep him. Whoever we hire as defensive coordinator is kind of on a 1-year trial basis, for better or worse.
And that's my thing, though. What do you think about the fact that if for some reason you have Mike Zimmer trying out for a job, let's say, right? With a 1-year deal. Let's say he does great. Like who said that earlier? That was a great comment.
Yeah, Xavier.
Let's say he does great. Well, if there's 4 or 5 teams looking to hire him as a defensive coordinator, remember, 1 year he's not going to get a head coach job. He doesn't want a head coach job. But if he's going to get 5 or 6 opportunities in other places as a defensive coordinator, why the fuck wouldn't he stay here if the next coach wants to keep him here? If Belichick is like, I'm cool with Zimmer, he's done a great job, he's won the coaching job this year. Like, based off his performance this year. You understand? I think he's playing not just for the other 31 teams, he's also playing for the Cowboys for that extra, extension if a new coach comes in and likes what we got going with Zimmer.
That is a fair point. But Pioneer said, for 1 year, why not, I guess, right?
I mean, he matches up. We want to go all in, he matches up to the things that an all-in team would do.
Bad intentions to say McCarthy's on that 1-year trial. So.
Exactly. They all should be. Zimmer will be an automatic 1-year trial, and he's just not playing for head coach. He's playing for defensive coordinator. Let him run it. If you have to go with Rivera or Zimmer, I'm going Mike Zimmer. I know I said Rivera, and I really didn't care when I said it the other 2 days ago. I was like, yeah, I'll take Rivera, I guess, over Zimmer. But when you look at the actual numbers, you see Zimmer's qualities currently right now. He knows that he's a guy that can motivate, and he adapts. He's a guy you want to bring in for this kind of situation. You don't want to bring in a rookie. You don't want to bring in a fucking Ron Rivera guy. So to me, this would be our best shot. He's coming in on Tuesday to interview. But here's the key, though. And you got to remember, guys, first of all, just to reiterate it, Mike Zimmer defenses have done a lot better than Dan Quinn against Shanahan tree passing games. And he's also outperformed Dan Quinn against all other offensive passing games. So, again, Zimmer's defense is just better stopping the pass. We know that for sure. The run, you got to give him the right players, in my opinion. That goes for Dan Quinn or Mike Zimmer. So, again, there's a lot of options out there. You can say this still, right? Like I said, you could promote from inside with Joe Witt Jr. Is really the guy I think you would go with there. But the smartest, safe hire, without question, is Mike Zimmer. You know what I mean? Without question, in my opinion. The safe hire for 1 year is Mike Zimmer, which is the highest upside risky hire. You want a highest upside but very risky? An assistant from a Shanahan stopping defense. Which are the teams that do best against stopping Shanahan? The Jets. So somebody from their crew there.
Okay.
Defensive assistant, right? The Chiefs. Somebody from their group, an assistant would be. That's a high risk, but a high upside. You got Buffalo. They stop Shanahan offenses in San Francisco, of course. So, again, now you can also go into with a lot of glaring issues. You can go with guys like Brandon Staley, which I would have an issue with. Don Wink Martindale. I have an issue with him too, some issues, the blitzing stuff, right? So, but you can bet here's the thing, and you guys are going to hate me for this. To me, if you want a downgrade on defense, it's Ron Rivera and yes, Vrabel as well.
Okay. So,
in my opinion.
So, what is it about Vrabel specifically that you would consider a downgrade? Like, what is it about? He's not
consistent against stopping most other NFL passing games. He is horrible at stopping the passing game on pretty much every NFL scheme out there. The only guy worse than him is Ron Rivera.
Okay.
And I'm just saying,
and that's why.
Of the coaches available, that's why I'm passing. He can stop Shanahan, but so can Zimmer. So I'm going with Zimmer. He does the best of both worlds, while Rivera horrible and Vrabel not much better. That is a downgrade because Quinn was much better than both of them at stopping Shanahan. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Shanahan. At stopping all other offensive schemes. Quinn was much better than both of those guys I just mentioned. Now he was a lot worse at Shanahan stopping. But how we got to stop everyone else? If we must...
and that's why I said it's a bit of a double-edged sword because we can get someone who can stop those Shanahan teams more effectively, but you can see the clear downgrade basically everywhere else, or vice versa. Get someone like Quinn who can rock the socks out of everyone outside of those Shanahan situations. Maybe the trick is to find a coordinator that can stop those Shanahan offenses, but then get some kind of assistant coach or someone else who can help. You know what I mean? Like it might have to be more of a defensive rebuild overall.
Well, if we lose Witt, then that's another spot we'll have to fill with the new coach. I know,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, look at the guys we have now. Look at the things they already know how to do. So if the guys we already have know how to stop non-Shanahan teams, maybe having a coordinator who can stop those Shanahan teams becomes more of a priority, becomes more important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And listen, it's something we have to look at. I want to look at the overall look, kind of visual of Mike Zimmer's defenses. When you rank them by DVOA, that's the analytic overall defensive rank. And from 2010 to 2021, which is when he was coaching either as a coordinator or as a head coach. Mm-hmm. Remember, he was at Cincinnati in 2010. The defense, when he took over that team, was 23rd ranked. In 2011, it went to 16th. In 2012, to 9th. In 2013, 4th. So he knows how to get a defense going forward as a defensive coordinator. He does a great job. Then he became the Vikings head coach. The defense there started at 27th. He brought him right up to 10th after a year. Then up to 5th. Basically doubled it up every time. And then number 1 in the NFL in 2017. Dropped to 3rd in the NFL in 2018. Dropped to 5th in 2019.
And that's surprising considering we know how teams are built. It's hard to maintain that.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just saying,
4
like,
years,
you have
top
your core
5
guys. Like,
4 years, top 5 guy.
After that, those core guys start to move on.
After those first 2 years, he went from 27th to 10th. And then from there, just top 5 for the next 4 years. That shows he knows how to put together a defense. And we got a defense already put together here.
Exactly.
We got a couple pieces you got to figure out. Give him his guys. Like if you gave it to Quinn, you give it to him, and he will do the best out of it.
Offense, it's not like you're starting from scratch. There is a foundation you can build upon and move in a direction you would like.
Now, why was he fired, though? Well, in 2020, the defense was 25th ranked. In 2021, 19th. So something happened there in the last 2 years. I'm sure players, I'm sure injuries, I'm sure issues on offense and defense, but it matriculated to the defensive side. George Edwards also went to the Cowboys. I think in 2020 or 2021, I'm sorry. In 2020, he came over from the Vikings when that defense then took a tumble, 25th. So maybe was it Edwards? Or was it Zimmer? Or was it they needed both of them? Like you said, you need an assistant. Maybe he'll bring George Edwards back. Who knows? But the point is, a lot of people want the forward thinking of wanting a fresh defensive mind. I think that's what sometimes you want. Maybe some people out there want, whether it's a newer guy or a guy like Vrabel can still provide something maybe a little younger.
Just to help kind of, just balance out maybe some of the more old school ways of thinking. I think that's one of the things I did appreciate about Quinn, for better or for worse. Like, he's not a super young guy, but he definitely has this kind of young energy that is different than I think, the head coaches that we have had in the past.
Yeah, Vrabel is definitely, I don't think he falls to the savvy side, though. New age offensive coordinators that, creative, and I say offensive coordinator, I mean, I'm talking about like the Cowboys. Let me rephrase that. I think they are afraid of running into some of these new wave offensive coordinators out there that will be playing on defense. So I think the Cowboys front office, if they're worried about that, they're trying to bring in a kind of an older guy, an older mind, you can say, in Mike Zimmer rather than a newer kind of stopper. You could say like an Al Harris, Joe Witt Jr. or even an Adam Dirty. I don't know. I'm just saying. My point is, a lot of people wanted the Cowboys to bring in kind of a guy who can stop the new age coordinators. All right, and are more creative than an older coordinator who's maybe not as often able to adjust. But I do want to say one thing about Zimmer. I do want to say one thing, guys. I know why people are a little bit nervous about Zimmer. I get it. He's a retread coach. That's what kind of we were saying as a older veteran coach. If you wanted someone like that or not. I mean, I have some issues with that side of things. But he's definitely proven to be adaptable. in his career, even as recently with the Vikings. And he's done a good job in combating the play callers who give Dallas the biggest issues in the last couple of years. So he is good. No matter how you look at it, guys, this guy is kind of like Vic Fangio. Motherfucker figures out our goddamn offense every time. Not every offense in the league. Our offenses with Kellen Moore. And even this year with McCarthy. But it's the same kind of mindset with Zimmer. He just figures out a lot of teams' shit. He figures out Shanahan's coaching tree. He figures out a lot of NFL teams' coaching trees. A lot of NFL teams' offensive schemes. So that's where, he is very good at adapting to the scheme he's going up against defensively. It's shown this in his past. His numbers show this 100%. So
I agree.
You got to remember that. You got to take that in consideration. You just can't say because he's a retread or he's 67, he sucks. Now, one last thing I'm going to say about this as we finish up tonight. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure you guys give your last comments or thoughts. But if the Cowboys do hire Mike Zimmer, what about familiar people coming onto this team? Familiar players for him, not for us. But the guys he trusts.
Okay.
Let me explain.
Who would those guys be?
Well, let me just say this. I'm not sure. There's a couple guys in the league right now that he's coached. There's a couple guys in the Vikings that you might be able to bring over. But the main example of something is this. Free agency plans. That would change the team's free agency kind of outlook with guys that he knows that he can bring in here and maybe help out this team. And I know we might say, who are you asking about? I'm thinking about defensive players. And the best defensive player that he has a tie to is former Viking player, defensive edge rusher Daniel Hunter. One of the top sack guys in the league. He's a guy, almost I would say he's a better DeMarcus Lawrence when it comes to pass rushing. He was drafted, and he's played for Mike Zimmer with the Vikings. So to me, guys, he is a free agent to kind of just put up on that board. If the Cowboys are truly real about going all in, you probably get Daniel Hunter on a decent deal in Dallas through the Zimmer connection. That's an example of one of many, right? That we can kind of maybe pull out of there. And it goes for any coach you bring in, right? Rivera can bring in a couple guys.
I think Daniel Hunter is a free agent.
Yeah, he is. That's my point. You could bring one of these guys, some of these guys that really liked to play under him. He drafted him. They obviously like him. You know what I'm saying? They like each other. So I'm just saying that's an option for the Cowboys if we really want to go, additional kind of bonus. Every coach that comes in here, any coach that comes in here, Ron Rivera is going to have a couple names.
Yeah, and Fuego, I can't see Romo coming in to somehow be our head coach. He seems very happy where he's at.
Yeah, he ain't going to.
Just being real.
Yeah, that's not even Fuego. That ain't never happening. I'm sorry, man. But not in the next 10 years. So don't expect Romo to coach anything or anyone. But he will take that, nice big paycheck he gets from being a broadcaster and don't have to get stressed or get, or worry about football winning and losing and all that stuff. He just got to do the games. And I believe he'll probably do that like Aikman the rest of his career. He ain't going back to coaching, in my opinion. But anyways, not back to coaching. He ain't going to coaching. I don't think he's ever going to do it. He wasn't ever like that either. He wasn't like a guy that would really, kind of help out the team so much. I'm saying he did his own thing with Witten, and that was it. That was his MO out there with the Cowboys.
It's just not his thing, like you said.
I just don't see him doing it. But look, in prime, again, like Tyrone Church is saying, he doesn't want to coach in the NFL either right now. So, to me, there's a lot of options going forward in 2025.
Hey, maybe, you know what? Joking, though. Right? Maybe Dak and Sean Lee on top of that mountain means something. Right? Maybe,
I was going to say,
maybe Sean Lee is ready to dip his toe in some coaching waters.
Well,
become some kind of assistant coach.
The Cowboys I've always said this, and I think you've said it too.
Didn't we offer him a job once?
I think the Cowboys wanted him to stay as a linebacker coach, but he wanted just to stay away for a couple years.
Retire.
He wanted to stay away for a couple years. Guess what, baby? It's been a couple years.
It has been a couple years.
And so you never know. I mean, he's not going to be, guys, don't go crazy on me. He's not going to be defensive coordinator, all right? But he'll be a linebacker coach for sure. I can see that happening. And I think it'll be a good one working up the ranks there. But no, he's not going to be defensive coordinator or head coach. I see people saying dumb shit like that. I got to say, hold up. Come on, guys. Let's not get delusional. The reality is with the front office, we're probably going to go with our own guy here in Joe Witt Jr. at the bottom left of your screen, or a veteran guy like Ron Rivera, which I hope not, or Mike Zimmer, which out of all the options, probably the best one right now when it comes to a one-year situation. a situation when it comes to matching up against offensive schemes and adapting to them. Shanahan, he does well. Other schemes, he does well. That's the guy you want for a one-year deal with this defense, with this team, with this all-in supposed mindset from the front office. Let's see if it's really that. If you go all in, you get Zimmer the guys he needs, and he'll make it happen. You get the offense, the couple of pieces we need, and hopefully McCarthy can make it happen with Dak and the crew. But that's what we're going with this year, guys, and that's we're putting all our eggs in this basket. I just don't trust the front office.
And quite the basket it is.
The front office is going to say we're going to go with the mid-tier at best and low-tier bargain basement free agents, and they're going to call that shit all in. If that's what they do, it ain't all in. It's just more bullshit from the Joneses, and I would just be complaining here on MCF as the offseason continues. I would not be surprised. But I'm also not going to. I don't expect the Cowboys to go in there and get the first day in 2 and 3 of free agents. It's not going to. The Cowboys are not going to spend that much. They'll spend the $8 million maybe. That's like day 5, day 8. You know what I'm saying? When you got this $5 to $8 million guys, that's the crew there. That's the sweet spot. The Cowboys would never wait that far. They would wait till the $2 million, $3 million guys. That's like week 14. So, I mean, day 14 of that shit.
Aloha, Marco Seppi.
In the house.
Much love to you. So, kind of touching through a few of the comments here, right? Clark motherfucking Kent said, Sean Lee would be a great head coach, man. Dude's really smart. And not just
not in the NFL, though. Not yet.
But I think one of the reasons I would like to see him join our defensive staff in general is just Sean Lee has always been fantastic at doing one thing. Reading,
studying,
his
learning.
brain works so much faster than his body was ever able to keep up with. And I would love to see how that translates on a coaching perspective, right? We know that LVE heavily, he mentioned a lot how much Sean Lee helped him in that first year he was in there when he had his best statistical year basically the whole time we ever had him. So,
hey, listen, I'm going to say this, though. I want to make sure we understand this. Who said that?
That was Clark motherfucking Kent.
Clark
Kent.
Seeing
Sean Lee as a head coach.
But I know you can't be serious about that now, right? I mean, or next year, because that's not how it works.
In general.
I think in time, I'm talking about 10 years. After he starts coaching for 10 years, then he might be a head coach. After 7 years, he might be a head coach. You got to let him coach a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like Al Harris been coaching for like 7, 8 years. He's still not even, not going to be a head coach yet. He's a defensive coordinator next. I think that's what Sean Lee has to start linebacker coach and assistant and move up the linebacker coach to defensive assistant to defensive coach. Like defensive, like a second in command like Joe Witt, and then coordinator, and then head coach. So we got some years from Sean Lee still, all right? He's snowboarding out there with his wife and Dak on the mountains. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I think that no matter how great he may be, it's also a process. It's not going to happen just once. Although I will say, when it comes to Jerry Jones, you never know with him. I just think that'd be a big mistake throwing Sean Lee in the fire like that.
Look,
defensive coordinator.
He's
That's
not
insane.
going to start off just as defensive coordinator. Like, that's why
He's
I
going to be linebacker coach.
He needs to be some other kind of coach first. Right, get your feet wet, get things going.
But when he's in there, he'll definitely do the job.
This is not the nepotism Olympics, right? We're not trying to win gold in that.
Jerry loves that shit, though.
Oh, so anyway, kind of rolling back a little bit here. Exactly, dude read Brady and Manning before their plays.
We're talking about Romo or Sean Lee. No, Sean Lee, great job with what he does, but doesn't make you an automatic head coach or defensive coordinator.
Now, bad intentions. Interesting comparison here. He's saying Mike Zimmer doing all the cooking, but Jerry's shopping for the groceries.
That's the issue with Dan Quinn, with Zimmer, with any coach that we have in this team, offense, defense, or head coach. So and you always deal with that.
Zimmer's definitely the clear favorite between him and Rivera, like overwhelmingly so. Fuego's like, Rivera, fuck no. Zimmer, more than likely.
Yeah,
right?
I'll accept it. It should be an increase. It should be an upgrade when it comes to, it should be an upgrade to my mind when it comes to Dan Quinn overall, in an overall way. I did want to say something, though. When it comes to spending money, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, guys.
Like coaching money or?
No, coaching money don't matter. I don't care. They can pay him $1 billion.
No. I just meant like what kind of money are you talking
about? I'm talking about player money.
Okay.
For free agency. We just talked about some people. But tomorrow we're going to dive a lot deeper. Again, unless there's a huge, breaking situation, we hire somebody, that it may change the work. But I want to let you know, guys, as we get closer to free agency, when it comes to outside free agents, if the Cowboys are serious about going all in, tomorrow, if there's no coaching updates, it's about all in tomorrow, guys. We'll talk about Jerry Jones' all in comment, and I'm going to tell you some names. Not every single guy, But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to go in depth on some guys that I think I want to know what you guys think when it comes to should we bring them in. Guys like Derrick Henry, Mekhi Becton. I love someone named Devin White from the Buccaneers. I've talked about him multiple times here. So you also got guys like Chris Jones. You got Christian Wilkins, Devin White, Patrick Queen. These are free agents, guys. Justin Madubuike, who I would bring in for sure. Jalen Johnson. I told you I wanted him when the Bears were ready to trade him, right? Cornerback for the Bears. L'Jarius Sneed, Michael Pittman Jr., Jonah Williams, offensive tackle. I'm just saying, I mean, we're going to go into this tomorrow in detail. Frankie Louvu. Some names in here you can pick up, some more known than others, but still. Offensive guard, Robert Hunt. Why not re-sign Tyler Biadasz or Tyron Smith? Those are options, right? Mike Evans, if you want to go for name and a receiver. You want to go Saquon Barkley, a running back. I'm just saying there's some names here of upcoming free agents, and we're going to discuss all those names and more tomorrow right here on My Cowboys Family. If not tomorrow, definitely the next couple of days is my point. But I'm definitely here to hear a couple last comments. We just went down the whole coaching breakdown and really the 4 names that we got right now. 2 of them in-house. Joe Witt Jr., our defensive pass game coordinator, second in command of Quinn, or Adam Dirty, the defensive line coach. That's the 2 in-house guys interviewing on Monday. On Tuesday, you're interviewing the external hires right now, external options, which would be Ron Rivera, and of course the newly named today Mike Zimmer in the mix of things. So we'll see what happens there. We talked about in depth about all 4 of these guys tonight, and if we have to talk about another 1 or 2 tomorrow, we will add to it. But of course, tomorrow is going to be the all-in free agent moves we may have to make. If you really want to win a Super Bowl this year with what we got piled in and smashed up together, these are some of the things we have to, we're going to have to, dip into and be real if the Cowboys want to make. We know how to make the room. We know how to make the $60 million. The Cowboys have to spend the money. And that's the question.
So, real quick, of course, we have, Mike Aldana saying the Clown Show's always claiming that they're on a free agent diet when it comes to getting players in here.
Always.
Again, which is why Gary's saying they're saying, we're going all in. But, of course, within the limitations of our money and the cap and the this and the that. It's not going all in, bitch. Sorry.
I mean, we heard what he said, right? He said that, we'll go all in, but it depends on the contract of the free agent and the need. And then
how's that any different than what we're already doing?
Exactly. And then even what's his name? Will McClay said it. He's like, we're going to check out the free agent market for sure, but it depends on, again, he can't help it. It depends on the money that he's given from the Joneses to use in free agency. Mm-hmm. They talk about the contracts. They talk about these other deals coming up. Guys, real quickly, if we give Dak an extension or even just restructure his contract, if we give him the extension and we give CeeDee Lamb the extension, we give Dak the extension, we get like $35 million to use on the cap, which we'd be 20 over right now. We'd be 15 under. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm just saying with Dak. That's just with Dak's extension for 2-3 years. CeeDee Lamb gets an extension. He goes from 18 to 8. It's 10 million open. You cut LVE. You cut Cooper Rush. You got another 5 million right there combined. You can cut Anger if you want. You get 3 million more. You can cut Gallup at June 1st, post June 1st. You cut him, you get almost 10 million. You get 9 million from him. All right, if you could actually restructure or cut DeMarcus Lawrence and get 9 or 10 million from him if you really wanted to. I'm just saying, with a couple other little moves, like Micah Parsons doesn't change the cap this year. That's the Joneses talking shit. It does hurt us in the future, but that's what all in is. You go all in now, and you're gonna have a couple shitty years in the future. But you're going all in now with your players, with the money, and yes, you're gonna have to pay these contracts out. It's gonna be very limited. It's gonna be very limited in the future, the next couple of years. But you're gonna at least get a team on that field. You can get a Bobby Wagner type guy in there at linebacker. You get another Jonathan Hankins or 2 inside in the middle there to help out your new coordinator. Get a good cornerback out there in the edges. Zimmer loves to use safeties. So we got 2 of them already. We got a couple here already. Marquise Bell drops back in there. I'm just saying there's some real good talent here already. And there's a couple spots that need filling. So it's up to the Joneses to do it by draft and I'm talking about high draft value or pay out the price and get these guys in here. On the defensive side of the ball and offensive side. But that's what all in it means. Doesn't mean get the best deal on a guy that's for $3 million. That's called what the Jerry Jones and the Stephen Jones fucking plan has always been. That is called, as we call it, that's called the clown show. Clownery. That's clown fuckery right there. And we're done with that. If they're saying, they're the one that said I didn't say all in. They said all in. Jerry said all in. If these motherfuckers are all in, don't be a clown show. Go in there, drop what it takes to win, push the money forward, and let's try to win now. Or you're just chicken shit liar, and you're just going to you're really just waiting for another year to push the money down and try to get out of this quote-unquote cap issue and try to win with just enough. And that might not cut it with the guys we're going to be losing and the guys we may need to add. And then we're not losing that much, but we do. If you want to improve these positions we're losing, like Mark's always said, Marco Seppian, improve the guys that we're losing. That's not that hard to do. Clown show, get to work. Stephen Jones, get your fucking head out your ass. Case closed. That's all.
But
I'm
again,
done.
you know, if they wanted to, they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So, with that said, you know, let me go ahead and start doing the final shout-outs here of the night.
Sounds good.
Again, thank you everybody here chilling, hanging with us. We'll be live again tomorrow with our kind of, you know, final weekly wrap-up, touching base on the last little bits of news there that, you know, will trickle out tomorrow, I am sure.
Yes, yes. So, whether it's coaching or we're going to be straight up free agent talk here. But yes, and by the way, Eastside Harold, and I'll get into this tomorrow, if the Cowboys wanted Mike Evans, there's a way of getting out of Brandon Cook's contract and getting like $8 million back, 8 or 9 back on Brandon Cook's deal. So if we wanted to change paths with Cooks, we can go with Mike Evans and basically, you know, pay, you know, go on a, you know, pay him a little bit more. But again, I agree with Eastside Harold. The Cowboys probably not going to invest in CeeDee Lamb and another huge contract in Mike Evans. Although he is on the downside of his career, but not playing like it, that's for sure. So he's in demand more than we can afford. Nonetheless, all-in options right here tomorrow on My Cowboys Family when it comes to free agency. Again, along with any coaching updates, like you said, baby. Give them a shout-out.
So, Thomas Garrett, the superior.
Hell yeah.
Garrett saying, get your ass on the clock, Clown Show.
Damn right, Clown Show. Get going.
Mike Aldana hanging out here. Even you, Leaside Harold, I suppose. Right?
He's always allowed in.
Clark motherfucking Kent in the house, rolling with us. Tammy Soltis, much love to you always.
Yeah.
Mark Hovsepian, of course, a big mahalo to the sponsor of the week, the Stream Boss.
Back to back, going for a three-peat. He's currently still just a hair in front of Stanley Smith in first place. Much love to him.
Bad intentions. Thanks for being here. Tyrone Church in the house. Yeah, hey. You know the clowns be clowning, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, so now just rolling back here, making sure I don't miss anybody. Xavier Hidalgo, representing, of course, Pioneer. Thanks for being one. He said, if the Eagles win a ring with Moore as a coordinator, I might not make it back from that trip.
Yeah, that would be the most depressing shit in the world. Much love, by the way. Kevin Bacon in the house. Texas Twister. Pioneer. Xavier Hidalgo, GM.
Skeptical fan. Have a great night. Take it easy. Thanks for being here.
Hey, back in that star level, Skeptical. Randy Stites dropping some love in the house. Desmond
I
Iron
shouted
Man.
myself out.
Desmond Iron Man in the house here with us.
Brandon James, what's up?
That's right.
GM.
Yeah, I think we got everybody.
We have, that's
cross
about as far
paths,
back
baby.
as I can go.
Orlando Rodriguez.
Roland White as well.
Yes, Roland White in the house. Appreciate you. Everybody here with us. Everybody chilling with us here. Let me shout out those that dropped a little bit of love tonight from above. And it was the main man, Skeptical fan with the plan, who came in here back in that star level. Dropped a couple little droplets in here as well. Appreciate you, Skeptical fan. Redman R as well. Randy Stites with the 5 on it. Jason Renfro with the Cash App love. Appreciate everybody here with us. Dropping the however you do it, guys. Whether it's membership, gifting, which right now is at 0. Believe it or not, nobody on that board there. Cash App, thanks button, super chats. We appreciate you guys, your love, your donations. Keep this thing going on the nightly, as much as nightly as we can. And we do go nightly. We do hope that even if we don't go nightly, like I said, we hope you guys understand. And we still put up a lot of content even when we're not live every day here in the beginning of the off season. Schedule changes make it harder on Tuesdays and Fridays, but that could be changing maybe once a week like that. So we're going to try to work on that on our side. And guys, thank you for chilling with us, dropping your love from above, the support, and the comments in the chat all night long,
That's
baby.
Right. Robert Guerra, have a great night as well.
Yes, Robert Guerra in the house. Guerra. Appreciate you all. Guys, you know what I'm going to ask the wife, right?
What?
Why do we do this here at MCF every single day and night?
I think it's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, right here on this channel, we always rep that star for everything. And baby, 6.5 years and beyond right now on YouTube here on this My Cowboys Family channel. Never forget the number one thing here now and forever, as always, Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Hopefully, before the Niners. So Chiefs, put in work. and help us out again, I guess I got to say. Thank you all again for dropping your knowledge in the chat. Appreciate you guys all night long on that. And if, need the discussion, the back and forth from you guys in the chat about our beautiful, wonderful Dallas Cowboy team. And of course, again, humbled by the best fan base of all YouTube. Thank you guys for your drops of love from above. But now it is time to clock out and drop out for the night on a special Saturday and have our finale tomorrow on Sunday, wrapping up the week. I'm sure we'll have a little Pro Bowl talk, a little coach talk, and a lot of free agent talk on the all-in side. So we'll talk about that tomorrow here on MCF, guys. But before we can officially drop out of here for the night, let them all know what we got to do, baby, before we drop out of here.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat has been dropped, guys. Thank you for rocking on the nightly with us here at My Cowboys Family. By the way, we're almost at 31,000 family members, a.k.a. subscribers. So appreciate you all as the family keeps growing day by day. Let's do this. As we wrap up another one here, wrapping up another one on MCF, wrapping up another Cowboys chat. Coaching style, you know it. Question mark of who's the defensive coordinator and even some other spots on defense. But right now with old Dan Quinn, DQ out to as the DC in DC in Washington, will it be the former DC coach Ron Rivera? He's coming in Tuesday. Will it be Mike Zimmer? He's coming in Tuesday. Will it be an in-house hire in Joe Witt Jr. or Aden Dirty? We shall see. That's Monday. We'll talk about that all week, this weekend, and next week, and more, and every day, right here on MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star for everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to all of you in the house. Hit that like. Don't forget to do that. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet done that. And hit that notification bell. Follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family. And all have a safe and fun weekend. Continue having it. We'll see you tomorrow night for another one. Take care. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.